aware that all these model verbs that you see, uh, some of them have uses beyond modality too. Okay. So what is modality? What do you mean by Sumaya? That's okay. Is there a problem for you to attend the session because of that? That's okay. If you're not able to speak, that's fine. But have at least a few of you interacting so that I know, I am assured that there are people listening and people participate. All right. So, right. So, from the list that you see, like Astha very nicely has talked to us about, she's given quite a few examples of model verbs that are very commonly used in English. Right? So, we know that some of them, some of the words, some of the model verbs that she listed, certain uh, model verbs among them, they are not just used as model verbs. They can be used as other. They are used for other purposes also. We'll go into a discussion on that because that won't serve our purpose. We'll concentrate more on how they function as model verbs over what other functions. There are in fact, several such words in English, several such grammatical units in English. Like I don't know if it was this class or some other class, maybe the English function. Words like after, before, and all that. They're not necessary time expressions all the time, right? So if you talk about grammatical categories, some of them can be used as prepositions, verbs, conjunctions. They have multiple functions. So this words that you see under the terms that you see under the model verbs category, some of them have functions beyond the model verbs, or they perform multiple functions. We'll not get into those details. We'll concentrate more on how they work as models. Okay? So yes, the list is fine. So let's begin by talking about the first one. Okay, the one that I have with me, the first one is can. Okay, uh, so when used as a model verb, what are the functions of can? How do you use it, or when do you use it? In which modality do you use it? How
When
do
we
you use
talk
can?
about ability, um,
When you talk about ability, right? That's the major use of the model verb can. That whenever you need to express something in terms of your ability, you use can, right? And what comes associated with can? Another model verb that can come along with it. So the moment you have can, you also have verb. Could, right? Can and could, right? Usually to remember it better, people do it that way. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might. Right? The only one that wouldn't come out in a pair would be the model verb must. Okay. But what is the difference between can and could?
when we talk about ability in the past, we mostly use could.
Ability in the past. Okay. Okay, this is one thing I needed to clarify with you. Yes, you're right. When you talk about ability in the past, could can be used, but in when you talk about the definition of the model verb, or when you talk about the concept of model verbs, keep in mind that model verbs don't get inflected for tense. Okay, you might have gathered this from the video lectures as well, that they come without tense. Okay, so saying something like could is the past tense of can, or what is the past tense of will, uh, it is not true with reference to model verbs. When they are used as model verbs, they cannot be used so. Your statement that, when I'm talking about my ability in the past, I can use could is fine, but not related to the concept of model verbs. Okay. So that just becomes a case of past tense. Okay. So I talk about something that happened today. And I mean, what I'm saying is that is true of any verb, right? That is true of any verb. It's like saying was and were. But these are two different things. Model verb is a very different, model verbs are a very different concept in grammar. They don't inflect. These are individual terms and they are not inflections of each other. Like could is not a past form of can, or would is not a past form of will. When used as model verbs. Okay, keep that phrase in mind. When used as a model verb. So like uh, somebody just mentioned, can is that particular model verb which expresses ability. could has a different function. Okay, could as the modal verb has a different function. What can that be?
Ma'am, it is used for suggestions, giving suggestions.
Is it used for giving suggestions? Can you give me an example? Tell me, give me a
Ma'am,
sentence
like,
and it will be clearer.
could you shut the door for me?
So can I say, can you shut the door for me?
Ma'am, we can say that, but I think it will become informal.
Yeah, right. So this is not, this is why I'm telling you, keep those things, right? I don't know if you were around, right in the beginning I told you there are a couple of words among these modal verbs which have uses beyond being a modal verb. Okay, so the one that you are telling me, so just a minute, Ravikant, let me finish what I'm talking to Aruni about, and you can ask your question. Okay. So right in the beginning, I told you that there are, you will find a lot of words among the set of modal verbs which have uses beyond expressing modality. Okay, and modality is what? Modality refers to the speaker's attitude, right? That is what, and that is going to talk in the case of modal verbs. It's going to be mostly about obligations, permissions, possibilities, abilities, etc. Right?
Yes, ma'am. It talks
So,
about possibility.
correct. That's right. So it talks about possibilities. So modal verbs are particularly to express obligations, possibilities, abilities, and so on and so forth. Right. So your question is on point, Aruni. The example that you're giving me is grammatically correct, but then it's not a modal verb. That is okay. So
Okay.
your usage of can there is not related to the use of the word can as a modal verb.
Okay, ma'am.
It is a different thing. So because when you say, could you please shut the door? And the same sentence can be written as, can you please shut the door? Okay. It's just
Yes,
that
ma'am.
could is the better or the polite way of putting that up. Right?
Yeah.
That has got nothing to do with modality. So could
Okay.
as a modal verb functions, or its function is to express possibility. Right? So can show ability, I can say. Okay, so that shows ability, and could as a modal verb will express possibility. Any quick example that you can give me? A sentence in which could functions as a modal verb? No? Try to come up with an example. It should be very difficult. All right. So, no idea?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay.
Ma'am,
Nothing, even nothing that you have seen in the assignment, anything? Yeah, somebody was asking something. Then go on. I did not see who it was. You can ask your question. No? Right. Look at a statement like, the hailstorm could get worse. Okay. Or he could be at the theater. Okay. Two sentences. Okay. The hailstorm could get worse, or he could be at the theater. Okay. If you have a sentence like this, the usage is mostly of the modal verb could is used here. Do you see that the sentence expresses a possibility? Yes or no? Does it tell you that we're talking about a possible situation? He could be at the theater, or the hailstorms could be worse. Could get worse. Sorry, not could be worse. Could get worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it's two sentences. So keep this in mind when you talk about model verbs, although they don't get inflected for tense as such, but it should show something, right? So it's not like it is completely divorced from the idea of tense. It's just that they are not your traditional, your traditional understanding of this is that can is the present for could, or could is the past for can. That concept does not exist. But however, it does not mean that the model verbs cannot express tense. It can definitely express tense, and most of the times, the expression of this tense is either for the present tense or the future tense. Okay, there are very few model verbs available to express things that have to talk about past tense. We'll discuss about that. I told you we'll be doing model verbs for this week and next week, so we'll look at that in detail. But just to bid it, for today's session, just keep this in mind that they are not inflections of each other. As in, would is not the inflection, past inflection for can, or would is not the past form of will, but it does not mean that they do not do any sense of the time or tense. Okay, so like the sentence that I just did with you, the could used here is just a model verb. Okay, the hailstorm could get worse, and the sentences he could be at the theater, right? So in both of these sentences, you use could as a model verb that expresses possibility, but one among this is a future tense and the other is a present tense. Which one of them? Which sentence do you think expresses the future tense and which one do you think expresses the present tense? He could be at the theater. That's the first sentence. The second one is the hailstorm could get worse. Which one of this refers to a future time reference? Which one of this refers to a present time reference?
Second for future, I think.
Second one, in the sense, it will be nice if we can read sentence for the people who are listening. It would be good for the benefit of the people who listen. Yeah, Mahi? Which sentence, guys?
Ma'am, the hailstorm could get worse is a future.
The hailstorm could get worse. Okay, let me leave this in the. Let's start the hail. Sorry, the hailstorm could get worse. Okay, this is your one sentence, and the second one is he could be at the theater. Okay, so among this, the first one, like you rightly mentioned, the hailstorm could get worse gives you an indication of the future time, right? And the second one is going to be he could be at the theater is something that refers to the present time, right? So keep this point in mind. They do not get inflected for past or present forms. Okay, they don't act as reflections of each other. However, they can be used to refer to time. It is impossible that you write a sentence without most of the sentences will have to carry a tense, right? So there is a time reference, and as you see here, could, which is a model verb, has a usage where it can refer to both present and future time. See this? Understand? No? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Okay. So just the context better. So if you had gotten this question in your exams, you must be able to get it out of the context that when I say hailstorm could get worse, I'm talking about a future time, right? And when you have a very simple sentence like he could be at the theater, it has to be present. Okay. And also, additionally, keep this in mind that most of the model verbs actually, when you talk about them in terms of tense or time frame refs, all of them, not all of them, most of them are going to talk about the future or reference. Okay. The model verbs that are used to indicate past, they are different. We'll do them separately later. Okay. But most of the ones you already know, they are the ones who make time references for the present and the future time. Okay. Hope that is clear. So can is a model verb that is used for expressing ability, shows possibility. First point, this between both. Second point is that we must remember that are model verbs. They the terms that you see as verbs, they can have reference beyond modality. They can have uses beyond being just a model verb. But model verbs, one needs to keep in mind that their duty is to express obligations, possibilities, abilities, so on and so forth. I think they do not get inflected for tenses, as in not act as the past or the present forms of each other. However, they can be used to refer to time frames and time references. Most of the fourth point, most of the model verbs that we know, they actually refer to the future. They can be used both in the present and the future time references. There are different model verbs which are used to express past time. Okay, these four things you need to in mind. All right. Now the next step: will and would. Any comment? Yes. Where do you use the model verb will? No, you don't have to, think too much or wait for you to get the right answer. This is a practice session, so it's okay. So unless somebody answers it wrong, we do not know where to correct, right? So because someone said the could is could is used to express ability in the past, we wouldn't have discussed so much. No? It's okay. Whatever you have upon your mind, talk about that.
Ma'am, will talks about future.
Bill talks about future. Okay, that's the time frame reference. But what does it do? What is in terms of expression?
Future possibility.
Future possibility. Okay. Then.
And
to make promises
like confirmation.
Confirmation. So they all refer to possibility, right? If I talk about will as the model verb, somebody asks you, what is the function of will a model verb? Your answer would be it is to express. Yes, somebody was answering on. Okay, you can, you know what, instead of saying what it would be, what you can do is you can give me sentences and talk about that. So it will be clearer to you and others as well. Does it also express ability?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? That also in some sense expresses ability, right? It can. So you write about possibility. So this one can be used for possibility and ability. Now depends on what context your sentences come in, right? So we look at it when we have more examples. But anything more? Can it be used for possibilities? You have ability and possibility.
Yes, like will you come with me as a possibility?
Now that's a question, right? I'm asking you come with me.
Ma'am, like it will rain tomorrow.
It will
Rain tomorrow.
It will rain tomorrow. Yes. It will rain tomorrow. Is it a possibility or are you using it as a certain expression? It will rain tomorrow. So I'm
It
saying
will rain tomorrow means, ma'am, we are just saying that that rain will be tomorrow. But if you say,
certainty,
will
right?
it
It
rain
expresses
tomorrow?
certainty. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Will it
it
rain
expresses
tomorrow?
certainty. Correct. So ability is one thing, certainty is other thing. And what was the third thing we discussed? Yeah, mostly ability and certainty. Okay, when it comes to the model verb will, it's used mostly to express your ability and also certainty. Okay, so if will rain tomorrow is an example of the usage of model verb will to express certainty. Okay, so he'll be there. He'll be there at the park tomorrow. Okay, so you're sure the person will definitely be there. Then ability. Example for ability. No example for ability.
He could win the race.
Sorry. We are using will, not could. Okay, if you said could, then that's not the one. We are looking at the possibility of will to be used as an ability in order to express ability.
We will do the work.
We will do the work. Okay, that again expresses certainty.
If we add try,
Sorry,
I'll be able to complete this work.
I will be able to complete this, but you are associating it. So there are other things for showing that you are able to do that. You're using the expression able itself. You think I will be able to. So will is again used as what? Certainty more than ability. Right, because you already used the word able there, no?
ma'am,
You
I
see
will
that, right?
try,
I will try.
and then like to complete it by tomorrow or something.
What does it express? It does not express certainty. It does not express anything else. So see, like I talked to you about can, could, no, even will has a lot many other uses. This is why, I'll keep building this throughout the session today, that we need to focus more on what the modal verbs do. Okay, not what the expressions used in modal verbs can perform otherwise. So, like you're telling me, I will try. I'll give you a few other examples where it can be used. One is definitely to indicate the future time verb, right? Another one could be to make promises, like I will always be there for you. This is a promise that you're making to somebody. Okay, or you can, use it to show, you can use it for making offers. No, I'll give you right to the shopping complex, right? This is making an offer. Now, there are other places also. You can show your intents and decisions using will. Okay, you get my point. You can use this word will to express many other things. But our point here is to look at how they can be used in modalities, right? So it looks like the word will mostly when used as a modal verb is used to express certainty. See this? Did you understand the last point that I was trying to make? This is the same thing that I talked to you about can and could. Okay, that it has uses beyond modal verbs. They can be found in usages beyond modalities. But our focus is on understanding how these words are used as modal verbs. Get this point, guys? Any doubt?
Ma'am, will is only used for in modal verb for certainty or like other?
It's mostly used for certainty. When I say
Mostly used
mostly, you
for.
can take, yeah. When I say mostly, you can take it for only. Okay, that's how things work. There can be like digressions here and there, but we don't really count that. So you can say certainty, right? Will is used to express certainty when used as a modal verb, right?
Okay, ma'am.
But the previous point is clear to you, right? Don't get confused with other things. Like all of these things, particularly when it comes to the would, should, could forms and all, they are also used to show request to express request and be polite and all that. That doesn't matter to us. They can have multiple uses beyond modality usage. But here we are to look at how they will be used when they're used as a modal verbs. This point is clear, no? If this is clear, then we can move further. Okay, and this is a
Yes,
very
ma'am.
important point. You should understand that. Okay, because one thing about if I am to also talk from the exam point of view, understanding the question is very important to approach, because unless you understand it, then you do not know how to approach your answers, right? So it's necessary that these things become clear to you, which is why I know I've already repeated it multiple times. So
Ma'am.
yeah, please.
Ma'am, like he won't be able to come. So it's an example of a possibility, like ability, or can we
He would
say,
not be able to come.
or
He won't. Yeah. We are
So
discussing will, no? We are discussing would.
okay, so can we say
Or
it as
even
a
if you say he will not be able to come, it is basically expressing certainty. If I say he will not be able to come, and said he certainly is not able to come. Or the meaning of that sentence is that this person won't come and it is sure. It's not about ability. Okay.
okay.
So if it is about ability, if you want to express ability, then you'll have to say he cannot come. Okay.
Or like we can use like that, he won't be able to pass. Like is
Sorry,
it
what
an
is that? What's the sentence?
he won't be able to pass like this?
He won't be able to pass. What does that mean? It means that he certainly is not clearing the exam.
Won't it
Get this
be?
point? It is
Won't it
difficult.
be?
I get this point because, we being non-native speakers, we have been using this as equally replaceable terms. We don't find much of a difference between he cannot pass or he will not pass, right? We use it, is this true or not? We use it like this, no? Sometimes we say he cannot pass, sometimes we say he will not pass, and we mean the same thing. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yeah. So this is a very special case in English. So these are the differences among languages, right? Might be okay in our languages to do that, but then English has specific rules with respect to these things. If I'm a native English speaker and I want to intend to say that it is certain that person is not going to clear the exam, then I will definitely say he will not pass the exam or he will not clear the exam. Okay. And if I'm referring to the person's ability of clearing the exam, then I'll say he cannot pass the exam. English native speakers are very, very clear about this distinction. Not clear to us because, yeah, we are not native speakers, which is why we are learning. Get this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ravikant. Others, not Ravikant, also for others who are here with us, right?
Ma'am?
This is a very tricky, just a minute. Yeah, please go ahead.
Ma'am, like you have said earlier that he will not pass the exam and he can't pass the exam. Ma'am, in case of ability, it is we are telling that he can pass the exam, right, ma'am?
Right, exactly.
Ma'am, then what is the difference? Like for native speakers, like what is the means difference? Like he will not pass the exam. For
The
saying
difference is, yeah, that is what I was explaining. No? So if native speaker says he will not pass exam, what they intend to say is that I am sure, I'm certain this person is not going to clear the exam. That is what the meaning is. And when the native speaker says he can pass the exam, they're referring to the ability. That person is saying this guy, he's not able to pass it. This is not in him. He doesn't have the ability to clear the exam.
okay.
There's a difference in both, right? The previous one is you sort of, get this thing.
Yes, ma'am. One is referring to ability and one is
One refers to ability, the other refers to
certain possibility.
certainty.
Yeah.
So
Certainty,
we
right?
cannot
Certainty.
use will, model verb will for ability, I guess, right?
No, we cannot. We
Okay.
cannot use it. Okay, that is precisely we were coming to. Right, this is a tricky part. We need to take this thing a little cautiously. Precisely because of the thing that in Indian English, which most of us speak, we don't English. We use it equally replaceable. We use it as equally replaceable in Indian English. Okay, but native English speakers will not agree with you. They'll be confused. They won't understand if you use it equally replaceable. Okay. Fine. Okay, so I think that point is clear. Next one, may and might. Sorry, we did not discuss would. We just discussed will. What about would? What about would? When do we use would?
To make a conditional
When,
phrase.
sorry, repeat yourself.
We use would to make a conditional phrase.
To make a conditional clause. Okay,
Yeah.
example? Example?
Like,
okay, needless to mention, but I think since we are anyway practicing, it is good that we keep talking about it. Would also have functions. Okay, not denying that at all. Would will have definitely other functions in English, but we're discussing the usage of would as model verb. So, what is would used as? Just give me a sentence when it is used as a model verb, and then I think it will be easier for us to discuss, right?
I would love to hear from you.
I would love to hear from you. Okay. This is the function being performed.
Ma'am, in case of expectation, we can say that we can use.
Expectation. I'm not sure if expectation is a part of model verbs or modality. Modality usually runs around, quality, ability, permission, request, not those things, but mainly possibility, ability, certainty, suggestions, okay, obligations. These are the ones that we use. Okay. Okay. Yeah. You can go on and express whatever you want. We'll discuss. Like we discussed for this. I would like to hear from you. That was your example, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is the explanation thing?
Ma'am?
What is your explanation for that? The usage of code in the sentence?
Yes, ma'am. Like modality here is, I am saying that expectation. In case of expectation, we can use that.
Expectation. Okay. Okay. We'll keep that for the more examples. Others, those of you have a different answer from what we already have, you can go ahead and give your answers and let's see.
Ma'am, to make request.
To make a request. Example?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Example. I'm asking for a sentence.
Example, would you do this work for me?
Okay. So if I say, will you do this for me? You're right. You're absolutely right about okay. That it is used to make requests. But we are just probing if the request is also a part of modality. Some people would say yes. But then in that case, a lot of things, even can and could will fit this category. That sense. Yes or no? Like I can ask you, can you do this work for me? And could do this work for me? Right. So I personally don't find any difference between the question you do this for me and can you do this for me, except for the thing that I change the words. And one is of course the polite form, and the other would be in polite and direct form. And the other is like a less polite and direct form of ask in case of even. But it does not really give you any distinction between the verb, right? So you're right about the request part, but certainly does not fit the modality category.
Ma'am, like, would you like to have coffee? Isn't that a request? Like in a polite way?
It is not a request. Is would you like to have a coffee with request? It's basically
An
Yes, I
offer.
guess. An offer.
suggesting, right? That's suggestion.
Suggestion, yeah, you can say suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, in this it can be used as a model verb, and this is so which means would is mostly going to be used for suggestions when used as a model verb. Okay, it would be better to release the pressure at this particular stage, right? So this is suggestion being made. So you will find this particular usage of the word would more commonly while people are making recommendations or people are giving suggestions. Okay, it would be nice if you can do it this way. So these are all suggestions. This particular modal verb would will be more suitable as a modal verb when used for suggestions. Okay, so that's right. That part is example is correct, but your identification could be on the offside, but then that's okay. That's what we are discussing this for. So suggestions. Okay. More examples in terms of sentence. We'll look at one or two more examples so that it's clearer for the people listening to us. We'll do worksheet definitely. I'm waiting for this part to get cleared. I wanted to discuss mostly theory part with you today so that it's clearer in your mind before we go to the questions. More examples of what is suggestions?
Ma'am, but in video lectures, this
Yeah.
the statement which they made, would you like cup of coffee? It was mentioned that it is a formal situation to form request and proposal.
Yeah, it is. It is a formal situation for sure. Okay, but needn't be always used as a request is what we mean. Okay, that's what the video said. It is definitely a formal situation. The moment you use the word, one of the usage of it is also to represent it in the formal situation as a less direct and formal, more polite method of putting things. Okay, and
But how-
this is why I told.
But how we will differentiate if such a question asked in exam, and there are just 4 options, and where request is also there and suggestion is also there, and it will be difficult to opt out
Now
anyone.
giving me a hypothetical situation, we'll make sure that you don't have a situation like that in the exam. Okay.
Like
That's
quiz when I faced it.
anticipating. You faced it. Okay, you're anticipating something that has not happened. Okay, to look at future, but this we will see. Definitely, when questions are said, these things are in mind. I don't know which question you are referring to, but particularly if we are talking about model works, we make sure that we don't mix it up. Okay.
Right, ma'am.
Or okay. So we discussed about suggestion. Would can also be used to express certainty. Okay. Also be used to express certainty, right? And sometimes people can get confused between could and would also. Like look at statement. I could mm, I could study for more than 5 hours. More than 5 hours while I was at school. I could study for more than. How about I write this down? I'll leave the screen this up. I could study for more than okay. So this is the sentence, and then the same sentence. I would study for more than 5 hours while at school. What's the difference?
I could.
See the difference? Both are used in the, both of them are model verbs. Okay, could and would, both of them are used here as model verbs, but there's a difference. What does it?
Means I could means you're talking about the past.
No,
And
I told you
no?
they are both model
Same.
verbs.
No,
What
one
could
is
Could is the ability.
possibility and the other is certain, like I would be able to.
Could is mostly used for possibility. So you like there was a possibility that I could study for 5 hours while at school. It does not mean you study. It's just saying that it was possible that 5 hours is 5 hours of study was possible while you were at school. Okay, but it does not mean that you did it. However, in the second one, I would study for more than 5 hours means that you did. You did.
Yes.
You could and you actually did it.
So there is certainty.
There's certainty there. So would is also like will. It can be used for certainty. See?
Yes.
These differences, they're very, very subtle differences. You need to focus on the sentences better and you will find such variations when you move ahead with the models. This one is a very obvious. I'm taking this from the common errors that you see in English. Okay, so this distinguishing between the model verbs is important. Code is simply telling you. The first sentence is just telling you that there is a possibility, but I did not actually do it, or we don't know if the person did it. Okay. The second one is certain. I could do it and I did do it actually. See this difference. So would is then also like will very much used to express certainty, and it's possible. One killer model can be used to more than one model can be used to express the same thing. Okay, there's no problem with that, right? Everything needn't always have one particular function, and this is the place where PM get confused also. When so can I say I will study for more than 5 hours while at school? Isn't I correct usage? We also know that will is used for certainty. So if I replace the word would with will in that sentence, I would study and write it as I will study for more than 5 hours by school. Does it sound right to you?
Yes, ma'am.
No?
Yes.
Why is it right? I will study for more than 5 hours while at school.
I guess it is not correct.
Yes, ma'am. It is a future certainty.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So it does not go with the main verb study, and you're also referring to something that has happened in the past. So if you use will here now, that is not performing any function. It's just an ungrammatical word which is not fitting the tense here. Right. So it changes according to the situations and the context you want to express. Although will is also used to express certainty, but in this sentence you see that will doesn't fit. You have to the word would. See this? Yes? No? Doubts? Guys, still with me? No responses? Are you thinking about it or are you confused? What's happening?
So will is will we can use will instead of would. Are you saying?
No, I'm saying you cannot use. The moment will comes in there, it's causing problem to the tense there. See, will is not used as model. You cannot use it as a model verb in that sentence, given the context of the sentence. You're referring to something in the past, yeah. So how can you use it there? Right?
Okay.
Right. So these things have to be taken care of. Okay, look at the context mostly, guys. They don't always, grammar doesn't always stand alone, right? So it needs to also speak to the context that you are talking. So the both words will and would are used to express certainty, but you see that the word will cannot be used in this sentence because of the sheer context. Okay, I will go tomorrow. So future tense is okay. Okay, I will this work. That is also fine. But the moment it comes to the past, you see that you cannot use it. See or not? Yes, no? So in that case, the certainty, it will have to be replaced with good.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Yeah.
Clearer? Okay. Fine. So if you have doubts, you can ask. Okay, it's very much normal because this is, as I mentioned, a very, very tricky part of the grammar. You can sit with for hours and hours and still find a lot of things that are confusing. So keep practicing the model verbs a lot. I'll give you the worksheet. We'll discuss the worksheet and questions in the next class. But I wanted to have this discussion on model with you. I personally found it very difficult to wrap my head around this, and I find that should be for most of the non-native speakers. And it is true. From what I discussed with you, I can see that. All right. So understand this English, this distinction that we have drawn between these two, right? Will and would. Okay. So both can be used to express. So would can also be used to express suggestions. Request, yes, but requests don't technically qualify become modality. But yeah, some people would like to include request also as part of that. So if your video does talk about it, then yes, you can use it in that sense. But remember, more importantly, both of these model works, will and would, they help you express certainty. Okay, both of them can help you express certainty, and would also help you to make suggestions. All right, this thing you need to keep in mind, and can could be rediscussed. I hope that's clear. But if not, then of course you can for any session and ask the questions. Now, next, may and might. May. This should be easy. May is like the most commonly used
Strong
one.
possibility.
Permission.
Strong.
Permission.
Oh, is may strong possibility?
Strong possibility.
Permission. Yeah, right, correct. Yeah, the first thing would be permission. May is the model verb mostly used to ask for a permission. True, that's right. Even can and could can be used in that sense. So can, could, may all be used for permission. Then anything, any other model possibilities? Yeah, please go on.
Might is for strong possibilities, and may is
Strong
for
possibilities.
permission.
Yes. So example for strong possibilities. Sentence.
It might rain tomorrow.
May. We are using may. I want a sentence may. I'm a little confused on why did you tell me strong possibilities? And I'm looking for an example. Do others agree with this statement of strong possibility? I'm just trying to know from people.
Ma'am, may is used for like for future also, no? For future.
It's used for future. It's also used for that, but the purpose here is to identify the modality function.
Okay,
So
okay.
yes, the answer is correct. Permission, yes, we use it for permission.
Permission,
as
yes, ma'am.
canon
It is
code.
used for permissions, formal
Yeah,
permission.
it is used for permission. We agree on that part. We agree on that point that can, could, may, all of them can be used to expressions to ask permission. But my question is on strong possibilities.
Ma'am, I think it is not.
Yes, ma'am. May is for most likely events and might is for those which are less likely to happen.
Okay, fine. Is that what the video lecture tells you?
Might is for less likely event to happen. I guess may is for that.
Might, I
That's
think
what
so.
you- Might is used for lesser possibilities, weak possibilities.
Yes, ma'am.
No, we are
No,
using may as for a guesswork. So how can we say that there is a strong possibility because
That
we
is
are
what
guess.
I'm trying to clear
Yeah,
with you. And
yeah.
I just wanted to know from people if, that everyone is on the same page with respect to that. Because for me, from what I understand from reading and other things, for me, may and might both are used for weak possibilities.
Yeah, right.
I
Because-
don't think any one of them are used for strong possibilities. Because if I say, I might go to Delhi tomorrow. So I'm not, this is strong possibility, right?
Yeah.
I might. So if it is strong possibility, then I can certainly say that I will go or I would go. Both are okay for me. If I'm saying I might go tomorrow, it does not give me a sense of strong possibility, even with sense of strong possibility. But more importantly, what did you gather from the video lecture? It's important for you to know because if we need a correction or if I need a correction, then I should know that. This point on weak and strong possibility, do you have it discussed in the lectures?
No,
Joseph,
I
you
don't
gave
think
me the
so
answer?
because
No, right?
Yeah.
Even I don't think so. There cannot be something like that said on the video lectures. So, in terms of possibilities, yes, they are used to express possibilities, but may and might are both used for expressing weaker possibilities. Okay, none of them will give you strong possibility suggestions. Okay, I may complete my work by the end of the day. Okay, I might go to Delhi tomorrow. Both of them are very. I'm not sure. I'm certain, and definitely there's only a feeble chance that I might go. It can change any. That's the implication. Okay, so no, not strong possibility. Both of them are used for weaker possibilities. Okay. All right. So possible permission. Fine. So okay. Anyway, we discussed might also. Does might have any other function? Like may had, we could use may for weaker possibility and asking for permissions. Might we just discussed that it should give us ways to express weaker possibilities. Anything else it might? How about permission? Can you use might for asking permission?
No.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Answer is yes. Answer is yes, but it is so formal that it is not used. Okay. This is an additional information. You may not be tested on this in the exam, but for your information, might in very extremely formal English is used to ask for a permission. So I can say things like, might I take this chair? Might I ask your credentials? Okay. But this is very odd because this is extremely formal. Okay. And it is so formal people don't use it anymore. Okay. So it can be just for your additional information, but you don't have to remember this as a word that is used for permission. Okay. But to answer your question, is it used? Yes. There is a possibility of using it, but not used anymore because of its, totally formal nature. Yeah. Anybody? You guys had any questions to ask? Someone I thought was saying something.
Ma'am, may is used for weaker possibilities and
Permission.
Permissions.
Seeking
Okay.
permission. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Might, again, weaker possibilities. Permissions, no, we cannot. Technically yes, but practically people don't use it because of its very formal nature. Might can also be used to give suggestions. Okay. Example.
It might be good
Might
for
work.
It might work. Suggestions. Okay. Somebody else was giving an example.
it might be
You
good
might
for
want to try this. Huh? Have you heard sentences like this? You might want to read the book. Okay. I read a book by XYZ. I was really, I found it really interesting. You might want to read it too. Okay. Heard sentences like this before? You might want to go to this restaurant. It's amazing. What are you doing? You're suggesting, right? You're making a suggestion to the person that, I found this interesting. Why don't, so it's another way of saying, why don't you try this, right? So the model word expression for that would, you might want to have a look at it. See this? Yes, no, agree, disagree.
agreement.
Have you come across statements like this? You might want to visit that place.
Yes,
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 ma'am.
ma'am.
Right? You might want to pay a visit to this restaurant, right? You
Yes.
might want to go to the hilltop, right? So this is making suggestions. So might can be then used to make weaker weaker possibilities, suggestions, and also permission, but in a very, very formal case. Okay, so formal that it is not even in use. At this point, all right. Now, shall and should. Shall and should. This is the core auxiliaries, core model works today.
Suggestion.
And
Should is used for suggestion.
should can be used for suggestion, yes. More like instruction and all that. Yes, should can be used for suggestion. But how about we'll come to should? What about shall? When you're making offers, okay, like shall I drop you? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall be at your office? So that's making an offer, right? So when you make an offer, you can use shall. Again, suggestion, like we mentioned for should, even with shall, you can, shall can be used for suggestion too. Okay. Shall I meet you again on Friday? That's a suggestion, right? Shall I meet you again on Friday? Suggestion.
It also, yeah, offer, ma'am. You can say offer.
No, this is not an offer. You make an offer to somebody to meet sometime, right?
Like,
You can
ma'am,
make
shall I
offer
do
to-
the washing up? It is an offer, no, for my service I'm offering.
That is offering, but in this case, the verb meet will not be in for meeting is not an offer that you meet with anyone, right? Meeting is always mutual. Somebody is not going to meet you unless they are also interested in something. It's not necessarily an offer. So in this case, your example of do, yes, of course. Shall I do this for you? Definitely an offer. But when you use it as a suggestion, the example that I used, shall we meet again on Thursday? Or shall we meet again on Friday? This is a suggestion, right? Suggestion in the form of a question. Of course, it looks like, you're asking for their permission, but it's not. To make it a permission, you will have to convert this into can or could. Okay, can I meet you on Thursday? Or can we meet on Thursday? Is basically asking for a permission. But shall we meet on Thursday? It's basically suggestion. You're not asking their permission. Okay. Again, like the same thing we discussed between the differences between would and could, right? This one is also a difference. So if I'm asking, can I meet on Thursday or can we meet on Thursday? You are seeking the person's permission, trying to know if the person is available or not. If you use shall, then basically suggestion. You are suggesting, let's meet up. Instead of saying, let's meet up, how about meeting? Or you might want to meet on Thursday. Can also be, when converted to a question form, can also be reformulated as, shall we meet on Thursday? This is a suggestion. Get this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Additionally, what else can you do? You can also you can seek advice using the word shall, modal verb shall, right? Shall we do this? Shall
So,
we do
ma'am,
this?
ma'am, there's a question about the last sentence, like, shall we meet up? So, isn't it asking for an agreement, or like if we agree to meet up? So, isn't it same? Like, how is it suggestion, ma'am?
This is precisely the difference between the modal verbs. So if you're asking for permission, then you have to use can. That is how it works. Okay. So you saw the difference between the could and the would, right, Amit?
Yes,
Amit
ma'am.
was the one who asked, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I see again. My answer to this is how it is used by the native speakers. This is how they draw the distinction. And since we are trying to learn the language, we'll have to follow the convention that is, these things are language specific, and we'll have to follow the conventions as it is used there. Most of them are not to have, I mean, it's perfectly logical to them. We do not understand it because, see, we are in a habit of interchanging these things. For you, it looks okay to also use can there if you are asking for, I mean, it looks okay for you to use shall when you are asking permission, but not for the native speakers. Okay. The answer to all these questions remains the same. That we follow a different version. We follow the Indian English version. Maybe in our languages, or not maybe, in most of our languages, we don't distinguish between these things. Okay. However, for them, it's not the case. When I say, can I meet on Thursday, for a native speaker would look at it as a permission being sought. Okay. And when I say, shall I meet you on Thursday, basically they will concur this as I making a suggestion to them to meet on Thursday. See, Amit?
Okay, ma'am, got it. Yeah.
Okay, this is why we are learning these
Thank
things. No, this is why we are spending so much energy and seeing which one's used for permission, which one's for possibility. Right.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Vishish, do you have a question? No? Okay. All right. So, what was it? Yeah, seeking advice. Seeking advice is also one thing that you can use to use shall for. Okay. You can also use shall to make predictions. Can you give me an example? So, like you use the word will for prediction, okay? We can use shall also, but difference between them will be that will is a less formal usage and shall would be a very formal usage. These days, actually, you don't find the usage of the word shall very, it's not very commonly used these days. People prefer using will over shall. It's also, it also refers to the, workplace.
Ma'am, I shall be at office tomorrow. Is it?
Prediction. Okay. Yeah. Right. That's right. That's a good example of making predictions about yourself, or even if it is about general predictions outside, your personal sense, then also shall would be used for prediction. Okay. Right. This is the most formal way of expressing. There shall be the office, or there shall be a there shall be a get together tomorrow at 5 p.m. Okay. Predictions, but these days people are going to use it with will. Okay, you very unlikely that you will see the word shall. Mostly it could be there will be. Right? Have you come across any documents? I don't. Mostly in the office spaces, people use will. There will be a get together tomorrow at 5 p.m. Right?
Yes,
correct. So that's something. Yeah, so that got shall and should. A lot of the things that we discussed in shall would be applied to should as well, like making suggestions and all that. Anything more that you see for should? Suggestions, yes, definitely used to give suggestions.
Advice, to give advice.
Advice, yes, correct. Advice also you should, right? You should do so and so. You should tell him that. You should tell him what you think is suitable for him. Yes, you should be for Mumbai tomorrow. Yes. Advice and suggestions are the most commonly used modality expressions for the word should. Yes, that's right. Okay. Now what? We are left with must. What is must used for?
Ma'am, I shall use for permission as well.
No. It used to be, but it's a very archaic usage. We don't use it anymore. I understand the question. No, we don't use it for permission anymore. Okay.
Can be used for instructions.
Instructions, advices, all of them, they fall under the same category, but mostly advices. Okay? For instructions, people would prefer you to use imperatives more than should. Okay. Or rather, people use should in order to neutralize the imperative tone. I can put it that way. Okay. So I know when people say you should do this, it sounds instruction, but again, not for the English speakers, native speakers. Okay. To them, it is more like an advice. If you should want to create a document, it is an advice. They don't take it as an instruction. It's an advice. Okay. This is again a case of distinction between Indian English and the native speakers English. Okay. Yeah. What was the question? Must. Must. What are the conditions?
Used for obligation, order, and
obligation, order. Correct.
Advice
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, right. You must. When the advice is something that is obligatory and something needs to be, executed at command, you can use the model verb must. Okay, this is, I think, the amongst all of that we have discussed, the straightforward one would be must. Okay, any other uses for must that comes to you? No? Beyond obligation, and we'll stop in another 2 minutes, but before that, any other thing? Obligation, yes. Order, yes. Correct. More than that? Necessity?
Possibility?
Necessity. Possibility. Example?
How it can be used in possibility? Like must means it is.
It must be done like this, or it must be somebody else like that.
That doesn't express possibility, no? I'm trying to, somebody gave me the answer possibility. I'm just trying to show them that it is not used for possibility.
Ma'am, certainty.
So, certainty. Example?
That must be a correct name, or like
it must come to an end.
Yes. But that does not express possibility. Sorry, certainty, right?
Ma'am, can you use for prohibition?
You're basically saying, you're basically giving an example of strong obligation. This must end. Okay, you're saying strong obligation and necessity, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You can say the class must come to an end because, see, I have other things to do. I have other necessary things to do. Okay. So that is you expressing a strong necessity for something to end, for the class to end. Okay? So this is
We must
mostly used for
study.
obligation. Sorry?
ma'am, that must be a right thing to do.
That must be a right thing to do. Which is expressing what?
Ma'am, we must study is a necessity
Then
word.
advice, no? Like.
No, that must be a right to do. Is if you are telling me it is about possibility, no, it does not express any possibility. Okay, that again expresses obligation. Okay,
The obligation.
again my answer to you would be that we have been using the word must to do all these things, possibility and other things, or rather we were wrongly using it to show all of those things. So now it has now fossilized in us. We think this can be done, but that is not true of its actual usage. In its actual usage, must is used to express obligation necessary. That should be the only place where you should be using it grammatically. But again, like every other thing, like with can, could, and shall, and should, and everything, we have been using must have in wrong context. Understand it? So must is used to express stronger obligations, very strong obligations, and necessity. Understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. All your doubts are stemming from the fact that we have been using it wrongly always. Okay. Prishit, you're asking anything? Okay, so I think that was a good discussions on yeah. This was the overall discussion on how your model works should be and what are the functions performed by each one of them. The next class we are going to look at two things. One, we'll do the worksheets with all these examples, and we're also going to look at the model verbs that are used to refer to the past tense. Okay, they will also have their own usages like obligations and necessity and other things. But along with that, we'll look at specifically the ones that are used to show these things in the past. Okay, so that would be what we'll be doing in the next class along with the worksheet. But the things that we discussed today, are they clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes, ma'am.
just have a note of this. I'll try and see if I can put these things into a PPT form and give it to you. But keep this in mind. Having PPT always will not help. We can have so many of them, but you will have to look at these sentences closely. Try formulating things on your own. Write sentences, more sentences in context on your own. And the more you do that, you will get used to it. Okay, just reading out from handouts and PDFs will not help. If it would have helped, it should have helped us. It should have helped us right now. Okay, but nevertheless, I'll put one together so that you can see the differences. All right. Okay, so we'll call it a day for now. We'll meet in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice session, ma'am.
Thank you. Hello. Answer close. Okay.